Good day. Today we are going to solve quadratic equations by factoring and extracting square root. This is Mr. Nievares, your pre-calculus teacher. A quadratic equation is a polynomial equation in a degree of 2 in a form of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. The following are the examples of a quadratic equation. X squared minus 3x minus 15 is equal to 0, and negative 3x squared plus 4x minus 5 is equal to 0. Let us solve the given quadratic equation by extracting square roots. Given x squared minus 25 is equal to 0. So what we are going to do is we are going to add both sides by 25 using addition property of equality. So we got x squared is equal to 25. So using the square root property, by getting the square root of both sides of the equation, we have square root of x squared is equal to the square root of 25. So the value of x is equal to the plus or minus 5. So our x sub 1 is positive 5, and our x sub 2 is equal to negative 5. Let's try to look at the second example. Given x plus 5 quantity squared minus 4 is equal to 6. Using addition property of equality by adding both sides by positive 4, we have x plus 5 quantity squared is equal to 10. Using the square root property by getting the square root of both sides of the equation, we have the square root of x plus 5 quantity squared is equal to the square root of 10. So x plus 5 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 10. So our x sub 1 is equal to negative 5 plus square root of 10, and x sub 2 is equal to negative 5 minus square root of 10. Okay, the next example is an example of a perfect square trinomial. A perfect square trinomial is a trinomial whose first and last terms are perfect squares, and the middle term is twice the product of the square root of the first and the last term. So we have x squared plus 4x plus 4 is equal to 0. So first step, we get the square root of x squared, which is equal to x. And the second step, we have to get the square root of the last term, which is equal to the square root of 4. And that is equal to positive 2. So if you're going to look at it, the sign of the middle term is positive. So we are going to use positive to find the factor of the given trinomial. So the factors are x plus 2 times x plus 2 is equal to 0. Therefore, the value of x is equal to negative 2. For the second example, we have x squared minus 8x plus 16 is equal to 0. So again, first step, get the square root of x squared, which is equal to x. The second step is to get the square root of 16, which is equal to 4. So since the sign of the middle term is negative, we are going to use the negative sign for the factors of your given trinomial. So we have x minus 4 times x minus 4 is equal to 0. So the value of x is equal to 4. Okay, so let's try to find the roots of the given quadratic equations. Given number 1, 9x squared minus 25 is equal to 0. So the given quadratic equation is an example of a difference of two squares. So to find the roots, first we need to find the square root of the first term, which is equal to 9x squared. So the square root of 9x squared is equal to 3x. So step number 2, find the square root of the last term, which is equal to 25, and that is equal to 5. If you remember, difference of two squares is a product of the sum and difference of two same binomials. Therefore, the factor is 3x plus 5, and 3x minus 5 is equal to 0. So to find our x sub 1, so we have 3x plus 5 is equal to 0. So x is equal to negative 5 over 3. For x sub 2, 3x minus 5 is equal to 0. X is equal to 5 over 3. So the next example, 49x squared minus 81 equal to 0, is an example also of a difference of two squares. So the first step, get the square root of 49x squared, which is equal to 7x. And the second step, get the square root of 81, which is equal to 9. So to get the factors, we have 7x plus 9 and 7x minus 9. and we are going to equate it to 0. So to find our x of 1, we have 7x plus 9 is equal to 0, and x of 1 is equal to negative 9 over 7. X sub 2, 7x minus 9 is equal to 0, and x sub 2 is equal to 9 over 7. Okay, let's factor 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 is equal to 0. Here are the steps to do it. Find the product of the first and the last term. Factor the product wherein the sum of the factors is the middle term, and then factor the trinomial completely. So we are going to use the bottoms up method in factoring. We are going to put at the top the product of 2 and negative 5, and then below is your numerical coefficient of your middle term, which is equal to negative 3. Next, find a factor of negative 10, wherein the sum of its factors is equal to negative 3. So we have negative 5 and positive 2. So negative 5 and positive 2 is what we called our preliminary factors. So we have to put x minus 5 and x plus 2. So what we are going to do is to divide our factors here by the leading coefficient, and the leading coefficient is equal to 2. So we have x minus 5 over 2 and x plus 2 over 2. So we have we will put 2 to the left side of the given factor. So we have 2x minus 5. And since 2 over 2 here can be simplified, and that will become x plus 1. So therefore, 2x minus 5 and x plus 1 is equal to 0 are the factors of 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 is equal to 0. So to find our x sub 1 and x sub 2, we have to equate it to 0. So we have 2x minus 5 is equal to 0, and x plus 1 is equal to 0. So our x sub 1 is equal to 5 halves, and our x sub 2 is equal to negative 1.